Hi, I'm Fuzzy. And this is my shitty intro. If I sound weird, it's because my wife is in bed behind me, trying to get some sleep. I am recording this at like 2:30 in the morning. So there's probably fan noise and everything else going on in the background behind me because I don't have, at the moment, a way to do anything about that. But let's talk about drawing, or coloring in this case, because that's what we're doing here, or what I'm doing, or what I did. And I mean, if you're watching this video, the first thing that you are going to notice is that I don't know what I'm doing. My self-taughtedness should be frickin' painfully obvious. And there's some weird stuff at the end of the video with some stuff that just went bonkers with all of the layers and everything that I still don't know what the heck happened. I mean, it worked out-ish, I guess. I guess I guess I could have figured it out, but yeah, I don't know how I even got to that point. So I guess I'm lucky. Also, if I burp a lot during this, sorry, I had a soda a little while ago and I haven't gotten them all shaken out. But yeah, I'm kind of watching the video here, watching the playback, trying to just remember what I was doing and what I was kind of thinking. And, you know, it occurs to me that there is no wrong way to Photoshop. But there's definitely better ways of doing it and worse ways of doing it, and I'm pretty sure that I'm doing one of the worst ways of doing it. If for some extremely odd reason you are coming here and this is the you're just getting into Photoshop and you're wondering about how to use it or do anything, you might end up picking some shortcuts up for me. But let me go ahead and tell you, I am not a practitioner of best practices. If you want that, go elsewhere. I implore you, please go elsewhere. Learn from the true masters, because I ain't. I am, however, pretty good at bullshitting, and you're going to see a lot of that. God, I see a lot of ums, and uhs, and other sort of just space filler kind of things. But really what I'm doing here is I am trying to do some cell shading style shading, and just doing like, two coats over a base layer with some highlights. Pretty bog standard, simple stuff. I just go about it in kind of a weird way, and frankly, it sort of like just struck me as I was sitting there trying to figure out how to get the brush settings and everything to work with the tablet, which I am only barely practiced with at this point, was that I needed some way to put in the area for the shade, and I could not figure out for the life of me how to do it with the brush. It wasn't coming through. So that's when, like you'll see in the video there, I start using the lasso tool to kind of just rope in the areas that I want, and then I'm hitting the fill. And I mean, if you look closely on the side there, you'll see me going back and forth and clicking on the wrong thing, even though I'm literally just using, like, for the most part, like 2 or 3 tools here, and I keep clicking on the wrong stuff because I'm just spastic that way, apparently. I can't remember from literally minute to minute what tool I'm using, and I have to switch back and forth with my brain. And of course I bounce back and forth through a bunch of layers trying to keep all of this stuff, like, straight on, like, where's the highlights, where are the shades, where are the actual shadows, where's the base layer, all that sort of stuff. And you know, I've seen plenty of other artists layers stuff, and it's pretty god awful ugly. I honestly kind of pride myself on my organizational abilities with my layers and whatnot. I've done a lot of practicing of it. I've had to do it professionally quite a lot, so you know, it's something that I take seriously. That said, however, I still don't know what in the blue heck went on happened here. When you get to the end of the video, you'll see it, but that image, which I'm using as kind of a visual guide for where shadows need to be and where the highlights are and things like that, which obviously I also used as a base to get the to get kind of like the anatomy and the pose down. That I don't know how it managed to copy itself, because it was just like a single layer item that was in there, in object, if you know anything about Photoshop. And then things just went bonkers on me. I mean, I gotta figure that out eventually at some point. I mean, it all worked out in the end, but I still have to do, like, the dude later on, and I'm hoping that once that is done, that it's not going to give me the same runaround. I really hope so. But I do have to say, though, I'm very proud about how ultimately the picture turned out. Like, the details came together, the shading came together, the technique with the lasso was wonky, but it worked out pretty well, actually. And then just going over, like, the edges and blurring it and softening up those and getting some blending going on, that it all worked out. I really would like to say that I planned it that way, but that's legitimately, honestly, not the case. So I don't know whether or not I did art, or it just kind of happened to me and I just was there at the same time. But yeah, either way, this is the kind of stuff that I am trying to put together. This is a first real go around with it. I'm going to try to get better. I'm going to try to put out more of this stuff, and hopefully it means that you know, if you are a supporter on Patreon, what you will see is, you will see a lot more of this. You'll see a lot more finished stuff, sketches, time lapses, you know, all that good stuff. If you follow any other artist, you know, you kind of know what to expect. And since this is a opening video, then other things, I guess, to expect along the way would also be, eventually I'll be throwing down some tabletop gaming stuff, you know, like stats, maps, all that good stuff. So if you're into tabletop role playing, if you're into D&D, then expect to see that. You know, the fantasy stuff in both visual and written format, because I might not know what I'm doing, but I'm gung-ho that way. Plus, you know, I gotta pay the bills, so anywho, next time hopefully I will actually have something to legitimately talk about, and not just sit here and mumble my way through it. So yeah. Oh, remember to do that whole like and subscribe thing, because that really does actually help out. And support me on Patreon. For $1, you get everything. So that's cool.